Welcome, welcome, everybody, to another episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. Very happy to be back. As always, I'm always happy to be back doing this show, talking to San Diego sports world. It's a lot of fun. I'm loving what I'm doing, having a great time doing it. Got a few things I want to get to today. No guests today, just me. And I got a few things I want to get to today. Gonna have some fun as we always do. First things first, I wanted to do a quick little PSA. If someone invites you somewhere, y'all know me, I get right to it, man. I got a lot on my mind. If someone invites you somewhere, you should be doing your best to be, for lack of a better term, on your best behavior. I'm all about peace, love, and unity. Everybody knows that about me. I'm a real positive guy. I'm all about peace, love, and unity. And so if I invite you out somewhere, I expect you at the very least to be about peace. You might not know everybody that's there, so you ain't gonna love them. And you might not, you know what I'm saying, you might have differences with somebody there for whatever reason, whether you know them or not. So it might not always be unity, but at the very least, it should be about peace, man. If I invite you out to something and you act out of pocket, you're not gonna get another invite from Michael Flix, man. I'm gonna just say it like that. I'm not saying that that the things I put together or my events are the hottest thing in San Diego, or they the best thing going on, or you know what I'm saying, you missing out exponentially if you don't get to come. But the things that I put together are fun, and they are about peace, love, and unity, man. So if I invite you out and you not on the same tip I'm on, you're not gonna get another invite, man. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I don't know about how other people do things, but for me, I take it as disrespect. I take it as disrespect if I invite you out somewhere and you act out of pocket, man. That's a poor reflection on me. And I'm not anyone that's always trying to, nonstop brand build, you know what I mean, and always trying to look to be a salesman or anything, but I am trying to build my name here in San Diego and within, the sports world. And attached to my name, as I said before, is always going to be peace, love, and unity. And if you can't be about that, you can't be around me. And again, I'm going to take it as disrespect if you're not about peace, love, and unity when you come to something that I personally invite you to. And I'm going to just leave it at that. So we can go ahead and move on. I decided to start with that. I didn't want to, get to the fun stuff and then have to have a downer and get to that and then try to pick back up. I'd rather, get to something like that first and foremost, and because it's important. So I wanted to get to that first and foremost. Before I forget, like I normally do, I got to shout out the brands that I'm rocking today. As always, pretty much, you're always going to see me more often than not. You're always going to see me in a Trill Consciousness hat. I love these hats, man. This hat is from Trill Consciousness, the Above the Noise collection. You see me in this hat for months now, pretty much all of 2020 at this point. And in my shirt is Signet Royalty, my guy, Escondido High School basketball legend, Lorenzo Keeler. This is his brand and his nonprofit, Signet Royalty. Appreciate both of y'all. I mean, I pay for the stuff I get, but I appreciate both of y'all for holding me down and letting me rock out with y'all, man. Speaking of me having events and doing things in San Diego, I said it a little over a year ago, but it's looking more and more like a possibility. Well, up until this whole purple tier thing came back, it was looking more and more like a possibility. But I am still working on it. At the runs I've been at, more often than not this year, it'll turn into 1-on-1, not the 5-on-5. The 5-on-5 is always good basketball, but like afterwards, guys want to stick around and play 1-on-1, which is always dope. We did it a couple of Fridays ago. I put out a video. We were supposed to do it on Monday after the Rancho Bernardo run, but we didn't get to, unfortunately. But yeah, we've been playing a lot of 1-on-1s, and I've been filming it, trying to take pictures of it and everything. And so I'm actually currently working on getting a gym so that we can have a 1-on-1 King of the Court style tournament. I think that'd be really dope. I said it in my Instagram story a little over a year ago, and a whole bunch of people said that they would be interested and I just wasn't able to do it. I got really busy with photography and other things. I've gotten, but anyway, I got busy with it back then, and I'm always busy. But now I'm trying to make it more of a priority, because I really want to see that. I really want that to happen. Whole bunch of media guys come out. My plan to do it. Again, I've already talked to one gym. I'm planning on talking to a few other gyms to see what the best setup would be. But I plan to have a high school division and then a post high school division. So that's whether you JUCO, any level of college, or if you play pro. I kind of want to do it where it's just like a high school level, then a college level, then a pro level. But we may not get enough like of just pros, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's my plan, to have a one-on-one style tournament or a one-on-one king of the court style tournament, high school level, post high school level. You will have to pay though. It won't be most of the things I do, pretty much everything that I try to do, I try to make it free so everybody could just come and be a part of it. But this is something, because what I'm saying, I have to secure the gym and a few other things. But this is something you'll have to pay for. Hopefully, it's no more than about $10 to $15 just to come and be a part of the tournament. My plan is for, and I'm not thinking out loud. I've already had these thoughts, and like I said, it's a plan. So I've already had this plan, but I haven't talked to all the people about the prize. That I'm about to say. But my plan is for there to be a cash prize, some type of a T-shirt that's about the event, because this is something that once we do one, I want to keep doing it, maybe annually, or maybe do 2 a year or something like that. But anyway, you'll get a cash prize, a T-shirt, some type of trophy, and then I'm trying to set it up with one of my photography guys where you can get a free video mix or a photo shoot. The winner of the one-on-one tournament would get a free video mix of all of their buckets from the day. But also with that, I'm talking to a few of my photography friends to where they'll give you a free video mix for another day. Whether you at an open run, or you got a tryout coming up, or you got a game that you're playing. And I'm trying to have one of my photography friends be able to commit to it. I'd like to do it, but I got a pretty busy schedule coming up. But we'll see. But anyway, that's my plan, to have a one-on-one King of the Court style tournament, man. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I really, really, really think that'd be a lot of fun. Let's get back to these notes. I can't be the only one that's super excited about what happened in the draft, man. The draft was really exciting. I'm not too up on every single player, but the main guys, the guys that everybody knows, I was really excited about where everybody went. Most importantly, or for me, not most importantly, but the one who I focus on the most, Lamelo Ball. I think it's a dope situation for him going to Charlotte. Not I don't want to say more so than him going pro is dope, but just as dope is the fact that his dad at this point now has fathered and coached and trained 3 top 3 NBA picks. That is amazing to me. Anybody that's been near me since the draft, you've heard me say that a million times. I think that is absolutely amazing that he did that. And even furthermore, I think it speaks to speaking things into existence. Because he said all along that, all of his sons would be one and done, which for the most part they were. He said all of his sons would make it to the NBA. Jello's not quite there yet, but I believe he will be, But he's in the G League, so he is in the NBA technically. And then, I think he did say they'd all be lottery picks, so that part didn't happen. But check this out. Since we've heard about the Ball family, Lavar Ball has talked about his son passes like who? Magic Johnson. Said his son was going to play for who? The Lakers. Those two things happened. He got drafted by the Lakers and got drafted by Magic Johnson. The greatest point guard of all time, and arguably one of the 10 to 15 greatest players of all time, regardless of position. So he got his oldest son drafted by an NBA legend. And this isn't really directly, he didn't say anything about playing for Michael Jordan, but you remember that whole thing when he was talking about he could have beat Michael Jordan one-on-one because he was always big and fast and MJ wouldn't have been strong enough to play him and all this and that. So he did all this talking about Michael Jordan, and then his youngest son gets drafted by Michael Jordan. I just think that's amazing, man. I just think it's you could call me crazy. You could be like, Flix, that's a bit of a stretch, bro. But I think it speaks to speaking things into existence, man. I really do. I really, really do. I think because and not just because of that. I'm somebody in my personal life that I speak things into existence, or I try to anyway. And things that I said that I was going to do in the past that I wasn't sure how I was going to pull it off, I was able to do it because I constantly said, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. You can't just say it, though. You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. You can't just say you're going to be the best player in San Diego this year and sit on the couch all day and play video games and play 2K and then hit the court and think you're going to be the best. You gotta with that belief in your voice, you gotta have that belief with your actions and actually go out and put the work in. And I mean, he put the work in with his sons, man. He put the work in with his sons and coaching them, training them up. You know, yeah. Even though they all pretty much, except even Jello's shot was kind of weird. They all had funky jump shots, but he made sure they could put the ball in the hole. He made sure they were fit, in shape. You know what I mean? And he did what he said he was gonna do, man. I think it's dope. I think it's dope. I have two sons, man, and I plan to you know, be there for them in any way that I can, but also, you know, go above and beyond when it like Lavar did. Go above and beyond with my kids to make sure that they accomplish their goals, man. A lot of people didn't like how he went about a lot of things. And I didn't like everything he did, to be real. I did like most of it. I didn't like everything that he did, but I was rocking with Lavar Ball and Big Baller Brand and the Ball family and all. I still watch the show on Facebook, actually. I still watch the show. So shout out to them, man. Shout out to the Ball family. I think that's super dope. Other NBA stuff. Chris Paul traded to the Suns. Gets to play with Devin Booker. That's gonna be a dynamic backcourt. I still don't think they go. I don't think they're a real championship. They're for sure gonna make the playoffs, but I don't think they're a real championship contender just by making that move. They're definitely one of the top backcourts in the league, but not a real championship contender just by adding Chris Paul. And they lost Kelly Oubre, who I like a lot. He's wild on the court, and he's crazy. Not really crazy, but he plays wild and free. And that's what I love about him, really. I like Kelly Oubre, who got traded to OKC, who is now in Golden State. Golden State lost Klay Thompson, who just sat the whole season out because he tore his ACL. Working out, they didn't say exactly where. They just said working out in Southern California, and he tore his Achilles. So he got to sit out a whole nother year, which is tough, man. So prayers and a speedy recovery to Klay. I don't know him at all, but that's whenever you hear that, that's terrible news, and you always want to. You never want to see. For me, I never want to see athletes go down. I'm a Lakers fan. I would never even want to see a Celtic go down with any injury, let alone a season-ending injury. That's tough. That's tough, man. That's tough. Oh, in the beginning, I meant to shout out myself, which I try. It's always weird for me when I do, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it now, man, because I'm really proud of it. Y'all heard me come on here a few episodes ago and told you I was pretty much launching the Flix Media Network. I was gonna be producing other people's content and other people's podcasts and stuff like that. You guys probably already seen me promoting it on my Instagram, but I'm very, very proud to say that the Flix Media Network is now producing our first show, KRSN Radio, hosted by my man Braxton Smith. Braxton played basketball for Palomar College. Then he played for the San Diego Kings, led the Kings in scoring one year, I think, dunked on a few people. My man Braxton gets busy on the court, but he's retired from basketball now. He's launching the KRSN Global, starting off as a clothing line and as a podcast. And he already got, my man Braxton already has stuff all the way lined up, man. He hit me. I actually reached out to Braxton maybe a little over a year ago and told him that he should do a podcast. He's somebody that's always had a pretty nice size following on Instagram or on social media, period. And he's just a cool dude, man. Yeah, if you ever met Braxton, he's a cool dude, super smooth, super chill. And I just knew, like, if he did a podcast, if he did a radio show, I knew that it would pop off. And he took his time, he planned it out, came up with a dope name, got himself a dope logo, and come with the clothing line and everything behind it. I would tell you what it's all about, but I want you to go watch his. It's not actually episode 1. It's the intro for it's the introduction of KRSN Global and KRSN Radio, man. So y'all, I'm actually gonna by the time this video's out, his first not his first episode, but his introduction video will be posted on the Flix Media Network YouTube channel, but it's also on the KRSN YouTube channel as well. I'm really happy about that, man. I got another show. I got another show in the works that's coming real soon, man. I don't want to give the name or the host or talk about who the first guest is going to be, but that show is going to be really exciting too. That one's actually going to be Braxton's show. Pardon me, I'm getting ahead of myself. Braxton's show talks about a little bit of everything. He talks about music. You know, Braxton is into music. He's an R&B head. He's gonna be talking about fashion. Braxton's is super. Like I told. I mean, if you know Braxton, you know what he's about. But his podcast is gonna be about music, fashion, a little bit of wine, just his perspective on things, what he's been dealing with quarantine, him being a single father, talking about his son, just everything, man. I'm really really excited about Braxton's show. It's gonna be a really 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 dope show, as I knew it would be. And then the other show, as I said, I can't give you the host and the name or anything. I could, but I've learned the hard way that when you talk about things before they actually happen, you kind of play yourself a little bit when and if they don't happen. So I've learned not to do that. But there's another show in the works. Everything is all the way lined up, but just the guest has been hard to reel in. So we've been trying to reel in the guest, but that show is going to be happening very soon, man. The Flix Media Network is here, man. Flix Media Network is here, man. We producing shows, we producing content, and I'm really happy about that, man. I wanted to make sure I came in and shouted out Braxton's show because that's I'm really proud of, man. Like my first podcast, the Family Room podcast, that show and this show actually too, On the Mic with Michael Flix. These shows are like, they're like my babies. Like this, I really wanted to do them. I took my time, I sat down and I thought about what I was going to talk about, what I was going to name my shows, how I was going to go about it. When things happen, I kind of pivoted so I can keep doing it and found different ways to tweak it and make it better. Like the Family Room podcast and On the Mic with Michael Flix and Link Up with Michael Flix, but the first two in particular. But these shows are like my babies. I'm really proud about Braxton's show because Braxton's show is the first show on my network that I'm not appearing on. All of my other shows is a little bit easier for me because it's all the way on my schedule. It's when I want to sit down, for the most part. Not all the way on my schedule, but for the most part. It's when I want to sit down and talk. The aesthetic is all mine. I know where I want the cameras. I know how I want to do everything. With Braxton's show, although he gives me freedom and he does trust me with my vision and with my artistry as well, but it's his show and it's his vision. So if I think something should be set up a way and he says no, he don't want that, it's not rocking that way. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm really proud for this to be the first thing that I'm fully behind the scenes. I'm fully just producing, and I'm just a producer, and I'm not talent. I guess that's the word you would use. I'm not like on screen or on the mic talent. I'm really proud of that, man. It's again, that goes back to me speak the whole conversation about speaking things into existence, like I was talking about Lavar Ball. I said I wanted to produce. I said I wanted to have a network. I kept talking. I sat down. I mapped it out, and now I have one. And the first show that we launched is KRSN Radio with the host Braxton Smith. So y'all make sure y'all go and check that out, man. Anybody else that has an idea for a podcast, has an idea for a show, reach out to me. We can make it happen. Also, it's a couple people. I just thought of this right now. This wasn't part of my plans to talk about at all. It's a couple people I've been reaching out to because I think you should do a show, right? And I've said that. One of you, I said that very directly. The other one, like kind of asked like what you thought about it. If I hit you up and I'm annoying you, just tell me. I'm not gonna be offended by it. I know I'm the annoying guy. I got a lot of ideas. If I don't hit people and ask them right away when I'm thinking it, I'm gonna forget. And if I think it's a really good idea, I'm gonna keep bugging you until you give me a flat out yes or a flat out no. So don't beat around the bush with me, because if you're beating around the bush, I'm naive enough to keep chasing you around the bush, man. So give me a yes or give me a no, and we can move forward from there. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm saying that because there's a few people that I reached out to. One actually is in high school. I just think he would be it would be dope if he had a podcast. And a couple other people I've reached out to me like, hey man, I think you should do a show. I think you should do a podcast. And you either hit me and then stop hitting me, or you kind of like, anyway, just give me a definitive yes or a definitive no, and I'll know how to rock moving forward. I'm not good with the gray area. I know it's like, oh, just get the hint, bro, but I've tried to get the hint before, and the hint that I thought I was getting, I was wrong. So I'm direct, and I need you to be direct with me too. So give me a yes or give me a no, and I know how we rocking from here on out. Back to the NBA talk, man. My Lakers, we picked up Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder, who was in OKC. I think that's a good pickup, man. I wanted Rondo to stay on the team because Rondo he's not an all-star in the regular season anymore, but come playoff time, Rondo is an all-star. So he is somebody that I wanted on the team. And he's a great locker room guy. He's a veteran. Him and LeBron became, super cool this season. So he is somebody that I wanted back. But it doesn't look like we're gonna retain Rondo. I'm not gonna lie. More importantly than keeping him, I just don't want him to go to the Clippers. If Rondo went to the Clippers, I think that would make them just slightly better than the Lakers. Even though we still have the best player, the best two players, especially after what Kawhi and Paul George did, I really ain't got too much faith in them no more. We have the best two players, but I think them adding a real point guard, because everybody talked about how deep the Clippers were last year and how good they were going to be last year and everything they were going to do last year, and how good they were on paper last year, which was true. But when it came down to it, they didn't have a point guard, and that was essentially why they fell apart like that. They didn't have a point guard to settle them down and be like, "Yo, this is where you need to go. This is where you need to go," and kind of put everybody in position and do everything that they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? So if Rondo goes to the Clippers, he provides what they were missing, and I think that makes them slightly better than the Clippers. I'm sorry, the Clippers slightly better than the Lakers, which I don't like. But you know, it is what it is. Lakers, we the champs until somebody else wins the ring, and that's just how we're gonna keep it. I'm liking it like that. James Harden is trying to force his way out of Houston. I'm sorry, they came out and said Westbrook said that he'd rather. Well, they didn't say Westbrook said. It's been implied that Russell Westbrook would rather be the man on his team than play on a contender, which is interesting. Which I hope isn't true, but just from what we've seen from Westbrook, it's not hard to believe. Honestly, it's not hard to believe. But James Harden is trying to force it. So, that's interesting. So if Harden is trying to force his way out of Houston, wouldn't it be Houston's best bet to let him go do what he's going to do and hold on to a superstar like Russell Westbrook? I think that would make sense for them. So it's going to be interesting what happens with Houston coming up in the next few weeks, or just in the next few months, or whatever happens during the season. But if I was Houston, I wouldn't be listening to James Harden like that. Like, he's under contract for 2 more years, and it's like, what are you going to do? Go out there and play bad? Nobody's going to do that. Like, go out there and play poorly? No one's going to do that. I think it's very interesting, though, that he turned down $50 million. James Harden did turn down $50 million a year in Houston because he's trying to force his way to Brooklyn. I think that's interesting. I'm not sure I'd be able to turn down that type of money. I was talking to my brother about it. He was saying that's that Carmelo money. As y'all remember back in the day, Carmelo pretty much every time Carmelo had a choice between taking less money so they could make the team better or him taking as much money as possible, he took as much money as possible and was like, we're gonna figure it out after I get my money. And he played on some pretty bad teams because of that. And my brother was saying if James Harden were to take this 2 years for like $103 million, which is crazy. Nobody's ever got $50 million a year in the NBA before, and he turned it down. But my brother was saying that's the Carmelo money. He was saying, like, if he takes that money, he's pretty much just taking the money and just gonna sit on a bad team. But I was like, I mean, granted, you never know what could happen with injuries, and you got to strike while you're in like the peak of your prime. But I'm like, man, that contract was only for 2 years. Like 2 years for $100 million, and then after that, you can go ahead and figure out where you go in a championship after that. I think that's what I would have done, man. It would have been very, very hard for me to turn down $50 million. That's crazy. It's some guys that ain't gonna see that. They're gonna see that their whole career. Like, it's some journeyman type guys that $50 million is what they're gonna accumulate through the course of their entire NBA career. And James Harden got offered it for 1 year. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's crazy. But at the same time, I remember when Carmelo would take the money, I would say, I mean, he's already rich. Like, how much money do you need? Won't you get a championship? And that's probably what James Harden is doing, like my brother said. Like, at the end of your career, you're still going to be rich. You're still going to be wealthy. Your kids and your grandkids are never going to have to worry about any money. So do you really need to take that contract? Why not get a championship right now? But that's a lot of money to walk away from, man. That's an awful lot of money to walk away from. And then there comes the conversation about loyalty, which I feel like there should have never been a conversation about loyalty in the NBA. but the teams have never been loyal to the players. So I don't think the players need to be trying to go out of their way to be loyal. That NBA is long gone. I think KG kind of showed everybody that that's not really the way to go when he stayed in Minnesota way longer than he should have. I think the days of guys being loyal, trying to be loyal to a team and playing their whole career in with one team, I think those days are long gone. There's going to be a few guys that might do it, like Dame Lillard, my favorite player. He might do it, but I guess time will tell. Time will tell. And it's funny. It's funny how I hope. Well, no. It would be interesting if loyalty came back in the NBA, and we would see if that would trickle down to the lower levels. Because I feel like when the NBA players stopped trying to be loyal and ride it out with one team their whole career and only leave if they absolutely had to, I think when they stopped doing that, I think that's when players in college and AAU and in high school stopped doing it, to be real. I think before that it used to be like, it used to be frowned upon if you didn't want to play your entire career with one team. It used to look weird. Like people used to like almost like attack your character almost if you didn't want to play your entire career with one team. But now, like I said, it's the norm to like, oh, it ain't working out here. Well, I'm gonna go figure out where it is working out. And then, like I said, college players started doing it. High school players started doing it. I remember if when I was in middle school, I remember older people telling high school players, you don't want to transfer like that. You don't want to, telling high school players, you don't want to transfer and move around like that. These scouts that are talking to you, like, it's not going to look good. Like, I don't know if that's ever been true because I was never on that level. I was never on that level. But it seemed like when the NBA players started doing it, everybody else started doing it, man. Actually what really happened, in my opinion, what happened in high school, AAU became more prominent than high school, and so that in turn made it where guys didn't really have to be loyal to their high school teams. AAU is its own beast in and of itself, and it's a great thing for players when the adults in charge are doing it with the right intentions, with the correct intentions, and for the correct reasons. But AAU is it can be a very great thing for players, and it could be very nasty and very crazy and very ugly at the same time. So there probably isn't ever going to be loyalty within AAU because guys are just gonna do what they want in there. But when AAU became so popular, and guys could really, really fully, truly get recruited through AAU, that's when guys, in my opinion, stopped being so loyal to their high school teams. Because it used to be the colleges went through the college recruits and the college coaches went through the high schools. They talked to the high school coaches. They talked to the high school ADs and went first to the coach, the high school coach, and then to the players' parents that way. Pardon on my stuttering, I apologize. And then when AAU became so prominent, now the colleges talk directly to the AAU coaches and to the AAU directors and stuff like that. And so high school coaches stopped having I don't want to say power, stopped having the influence that they once had. Even though a lot of high school coaches these days are AAU coaches, they didn't start off that way. They used to be more or less separate. And colleges will go through high schools, but now they go through AAU. So now the high school coaches don't have the influence that they should have, in my opinion, because, well, I can't say should have. I guess I can't really have an opinion on that because I'm not, directly in it and really know it like that. So let me tiptoe right on out of that conversation before I get myself in trouble. But I do think there was a trickle down from the whole loyalty with the NBA down to younger players and things like that. Football players, San Diego football players. I need one of y'all to come holla at me on the show, man. I want a football player on the show. I want to talk to y'all about what you've been doing, because it's easy to go get some run in, during the quarantine. Not easy, but it's easier to go get some run in when you play basketball during a pandemic and during this quarantine. It's easier to put a pickup game together and actually play and make it like an actual game type situation. There may not be refs, and you know what I mean, and maybe all the talent isn't up to what you want, but you can simulate a game situation and really get a decent enough look and really work on your game and really work on your moves and really get better during this time. as a football player, I'm sure you can as well, but I'm sure it's much more difficult. And you can't simulate gameplay. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I guess you can't when it's not football season anyway. But anyway, I want a football player on the show so I could talk to you just about what you've been doing during the pandemic, what you've been doing during quarantine, what about, what colleges you talking to, what offers you've got. More and more, not more and more people, but people are still asking me, is your show is it a basketball show or is it like a sports show? Those people, I will say, I don't take offense to it, but those people are the people that I know only watch the interview portion of the show when I have guests on, and or you only watch the Instagram clips, which is fine. However you consume my content is great. I'm not complaining. However you consume my content is great. But those are the people that I know don't watch the entire show, because I've said on the show a few times, this show is for everybody. And I've actually said it's not just for athletes. It's for anybody who wants to come and, anybody doing something positive in San Diego that wants to come and promote it. So my show is indeed for everybody. But there are people still asking me, is it just a basketball show? I get it. I got a picture of Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron right here on the wall. You know what I'm saying? I've only had basketball players on the show. I just did a whole rant about, Lavar Ball and the NBA and the NBA draft. I get it. Everybody knows I'm more basketball than I am football. But I do love football as well. I work for KUSI. I cover football with Prep Pigskin Report. I've interviewed football players on the sideline before. I love football. I love sports altogether, and I love San Diego. But specifically, football players, San Diego high school football players. I've been waiting for one of y'all to come talk to me on the show, man. Come talk to me. Come sit down with me. I've lined up one. It didn't work out. Got another one coming up, hopefully soon. But I really want it to happen, so come talk to me, man, for real. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today, man. That's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for always rocking with me, man. It means a lot to me, man, when people come up to me. Oh, one quick thing before I get out. One quick thing before I get out. And I've spoken to a few people about this, and I think it's I think it's a really weird and interesting thing. And it's something that I've had to get used to, so I can only imagine what celebrities go through. I'm not comparing myself to celebrities. Let me not do that. Well, who do you think he is? But I have to remind myself that I do a lot of content, my own personal content with my face and my voice in it. Because before I was used to just making videos and taking pictures of everybody else. And so I'd put that content out, and then there'd be times before when people didn't really know my face or they don't follow my personal page. I am Mike Round on Instagram and Twitter. They didn't follow my personal page, and so they followed my business page, the Michael Flix page, and there'd be times when someone would say, "Hey, what's up, Flix?" or Michael Flix or Flixy Hustle or whatever, and people would turn around like, "Oh, I follow him. That's him? Oh, that's who he is." Okay. But now that I'm on camera and you hear my voice, now when I show up places, I can tell people are looking at me like, "Oh, that's the dude from YouTube," or "That's the dude from Instagram." And only up until maybe a couple of weeks ago, I really realized that. I promise you, every time I'd walk up and people would be looking at me, I'd be not that I'd get defensive or want to fight. Never me. Like I said, I'm all about peace, love, and unity. But I'd be like, why is this dude staring at me so hard? What is he? I got a booger? What is going on? And I was like, and then a couple of guys will come up to me like, "Hey, you're Michael Flix, right?" And I know that they're not really asking the question. They're like, "Hey, I follow you. I see your videos. I've seen you on YouTube. I've seen you on Instagram." But yeah, man, it's been. I've only recently kind of been like, okay, anyway, I be in my own head a lot and think I must have a booger. Is there something, my shirt don't look right? Am I what is going on? But anyway, with that, I guess that's my long-winded way of saying I appreciate everybody who watches all of my content, who listens to all of my content, who, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube or, Spotify or SoundCloud, however you consume my content, man, it really means a lot to me. I appreciate it a lot. I've been getting a lot of really, really positive feedback. Something the other day, man, it made me feel so good, man. And when stuff like that, I want to share it, but stuff like that, when it makes me feel that good, I want to keep it personal so I can hold on to it and it could just be for me. You know what I mean? I'll share other things, and y'all know me. I'm an open book. I share everything, but some of those things, it makes you feel so good that it's you know what? That's a little nugget I'm gonna keep for myself, and I'm gonna just hold on to that one myself. But anybody that reaches out, and even if you don't reach out, if you consume my content, thank you. I appreciate it. And if you do reach out and tell me how much you enjoy it and how much you love it, thank you. It means a lot. It absolutely 1,000% means a lot, man. And on that note, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate everybody. This has been, I think, like episode 17 of On the Mic with Michael Flix. I'm going to try my best to keep it rocking, man. A link up with Michael Flix will be coming back very soon. Please go check out the Family Room podcast on the Flix Media Network YouTube page. And y'all continue to rock with me, man. San Diego, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all's love, too. I'm out.